So putting a Tailornova pattern together, it's like by rows and by columns. So it starts from the first column and first row. So then I cut at the corner, the dotted line. I usually use X-Acto knife and then my metal ruler. You can also fold it, but I just like cutting it because folded would get too bulky. I cut the second sheet and then I'll glue to the first sheet. And I just use glue stick. I love this purple one because it's fun and I can see it. So just glue it there. And what I use as a guide is more, not as much as the dotted line, as much as the pattern itself. So I always try to make sure the pattern is making sense, how it's sticking together. Then I move on to the next sheet and then cut the new sheet that's going to be glued to the last one. You can also do with scissors. I just find easier with the X-Acto knife. And even if see how the printer just printed a little twisted on the paper, it's okay because the print itself is fine. And then go on, and then so I do like the first row and see how it's sheet 1 of 1, sheet 2 of 1, then 3 of 1. And this one, I think it goes into 5. It's a little boring, but after you have the pattern together, it's awesome. So it's worth it. And then the glue. You can tape it. Some people like to use tape. But I think the glue stick just has a more clean job. And then I'm going for the last sheet. Sometimes the print is not going to be perfect, and then just to do the best you can, because for some reason sometimes it's a little weird. I don't know if it's the software or what. Now I moved on to the second row, and then it's sheet 1 of row 2. And then in this case, when it's just the first sheet, I cut only the top because the left corner can be just left there. And then I'm going to stick to my first row, just glue it up there. And see how I follow the curve. Those are like pants that I'm printing, so that I'm making. So then it's the curve of the center back, and see how I just make sure the curve is all nice looking. And now when I move on to the second column, it's sheet 2 of row 2. I gotta cut the left side of the sheet and the top side. So then when it's like those middle sheets, you gotta cut 2 parts. And then it's a little more tricky because you gotta match with the top and the side, but it works easily. It's not very challenging. That one is good because there's the writing there, and then I gotta make sure it's really matching. And also matching the dotted lines on the side. Sometimes there's no pattern lines in the middle. If the pattern is too large, if it's like a coat or something, like a large thing, you won't see the pattern lines in the middle, but then you try to just use the dotted lines as a guide. And then keep going, just cut the side and the top until we reach the last sheet of this row, and then you don't need to cut the right side of the sheet. And the good thing about the software is that it prints only the pages that have pattern on it. So if there's some blank pages, it won't print. So it saves paper. Some patterns have more if it's a jumpsuit or a dress or something, you have a lot of sheets. But if this pair of pants, for instance, doesn't have many. So, oh, one thing I forgot to mention is the test square. They always put in one of the sheets, and then you have just to get your ruler and make sure it's matching. And that's for the scale. Make sure the scale is right. And I'll do that before started printing everything. You can print only one sheet, only the test square, and see if it's working. Now it's my last sheet, and I'm just gonna cut the top and the left side. And then I'm done. I really like working with the purple glue. It's just because then you see where the glue is. I guess that's why they made it like that. And see, even like this long thing, it's the waistband of the pants. I didn't need to glue the whole thing in the entire sheet. But there it is, look. I mean, like if you want to separate the parts so you don't have such a large print, but you do as is easy for you. All right, thank you.